So I was at the Cannabis World Congress and Business Expo this last weekend, and for those of you who do not know, this is basically a big trade show for the budding cannabis industry. Overall, it's a pretty good show. I've gone the past 2 years, and both times that I went, I learned a whole bunch. One of the sessions I attended at the show was entitled "Failure is Not an Option." This session was specifically referring to California Proposition 64, which is the ballot initiative to legalize and regulate marijuana. This session had quite a few heavy hitters when it comes to the cannabis law reform landscape. You had Paul Armentano, who's the deputy director of NORML, Lynn Lyman, who is the state director for the California Drug Policy Alliance. But maybe the most compelling speaker on the panel was Dale Sky Jones. She's the executive chancellor of Oxford University and a National Cannabis Industry Association board member. She spoke very passionately and she was very matter-of-fact about her stance on this bill. She made reference to her crisis of conscience when it comes to how she's going to vote. And even when she was being goaded on by the moderator to say something negative about the bill, she stayed strong and she said that yes, this is in fact the time to vote yes on Prop 64. So at the state level, voting yes means that cannabis consumption will be legalized for all adults in the state of California. But that's not all it means. There's a lot of other very good things in this initiative. All the panelists asserted that a yes vote on Prop 64 would mean an effective beginning to the end of the drug war. Ms. Lyman talked about how under Prop 64, current drug war prisoners will be able to have a chance to correct their criminal record. So when we're talking about drug war prisoners, we're talking about people who are disproportionately black and brown. We're talking about people who are have felonies on their criminal record right now, or people who are currently serving nonviolent marijuana sentences. I think it's a really good thing that these people will have a chance to correct their criminal record. Ms. Lyman also stated that most marijuana felonies will either be reduced to misdemeanors or disappear completely from the books. Money from the sales of recreational pot will be directed to help the victims of the drug war, to help them pay legal fees, and for rehabilitation programs, and for programs that don't criminalize addiction. Also, drug war prisoners will not be able to be barred from owning a cannabis business, so that's a great thing too. A yes decision would also most certainly send positive reverberations across the country as well. One of Dale Sky Jones' most compelling arguments was that the mentality of a U.S. congressperson or senator. She said that when they vote on an issue, they aren't necessarily doing the research that people with boots on the ground are doing. They're looking at saying, did it win or did it lose? No surprise here, politicians don't always vote with their constituents' best interests in mind. So if California somehow decides to vote no on Prop 64, that's the world's largest cannabis market, by the way. It sends a message to Congress and to the rest of the country that maybe we're just not ready for this yet. And then it's back to the drawing board, and then who knows when the next time we'll have to vote on legalization. I'm voting yes on 64 in November 2016, and I'm encouraging you to do the same. With the reading and research I've been doing and hearing this panel speak, I'm convinced that this is the right step forward. I understand that there are voices of opposition coming from within the cannabis community. I understand that they are unhappy with parts of this bill or the whole thing altogether. I know that there's people that think that this goes way too far in regulations, and other people who say that it doesn't go far enough in protections. But for me, this is a starting point. I'm rooting for positive outcomes no matter what happens. I'm hoping that a yes vote will be fair and beneficial to as many people as possible, including you, and you, and you, and even you too.